Hello and welcome to the Big Arse discussion. I'm your host Giles, and joined with me as ever, the wonderful Robbie and Amanda. All right, guys, and the even more wonderful Men's. Right. So we've signed him, Xhaka Khan, Granny Xhaka, whatever you want to call it. We've got him finally. It's been what's been going on since December, or when was it?
Last season as well.
Yeah. Happy with that one, Mims?
Yeah, very happy. He's that sort of destroyer in centre midfield that we've been looking for a couple of seasons now, isn't he? Obviously, you've got a number of players that can play in that role. You've got your destroyer and destructor defensive midfield player. You've got your distributor like Alonso, your two-guy, that type of player. I think we've been crying out for that hard player for a number of years. We sort of stumbled across Francis Coquelin. For me, Coquelin's not a ball player. He wins the ball back, but doesn't chip in with enough goals or assists or anything. His distribution with his ball's not very good. I think this Xhaka is probably a player that we can do a lot of the destroying, but can be passing as well. From what I've seen about him, he's a left-footed, strong, big player. He's got a good range of passing. He reminds me of Emmanuel Petit. He's that type of player. So I think he's going to bring some quality to our team. It's a good start. Hopefully he's one of many to come.
Mans, what do you know about Mr. Xhaka?
Not much, because I never ever take any notice till they sign. So now they've signed, I'll be taking notice. All I know is he's from Borussia Mönchengladbach, and if he's played for them, he's got to be all right.
He is. Robbie, as Mims has said, we've been crying out for someone like this, a three-dimensional player who's not only conscientious, who's good off the ball, covering and shielding, but actually his distribution. He's got a few assists. He's also aggressive. We've lacked that kind of menace, in midfield. What do you expect to see from him?
By the way, I like the way you got two guy in there. Gotta get the Turks in there. I love that. But yeah, Xhaka, I like the signing as well. And one of the reasons I like it is, the little what I've seen of him and what I've read about him is that he's got a lot of leadership qualities, and that is something that we really lack. And that's what they say. He's got a lot of leadership qualities, and he is aggressive. Another thing we lack. We got a lot of. I like Coquelin. I think he is a very aggressive player, but we need some more players like that in there. And this sounds like a very good signing to me. Very expensive. He's been described as the new Schweinsteiger, they was calling him in Germany. So
I think 25 mil going up to 30 is quite a good deal, actually.
Yeah, but it's still a lot of money. He's still, you compare it to, say, Kante costs 5 million. So, it's a lot of money we're shelving out. But, the more quality players we can get in, the better. And I think this is a very progressive signing. Bayern Munich and teams like this were looking at him. So, it's a very progressive signing by Arsenal.
He's had a few red cards, so that's one of the concerns.
Yeah, he's
disciplinary is a bit suspect, isn't
it? And you know, like in the Premier League, they'll go after him for that. But I don't mind it. I don't mind that we've got somebody in there that's going to show a bit of aggression, a bit of fight.
What do you think in terms of how the team is going to look? I mean, he's obviously left-footed, so that sorts out the left side. So we're wondering who's going to be partnering again, who's going to partner up with him. Are we going to be playing a two-man pivot as we usually do? Or is there a scope for playing a three-man midfield where we can have him sitting deep and maybe Wiltshire or Ramsey or Elneny or There's so many permutations there. How do you see him fitting in and with who?
So it's very, because we've been so used to seeing the formations that we've had, and he's really a box-to-box player more than, a lot of people are sort of saying like he's a defensive midfielder. He's not. He's more of a box-to-box midfielder, exactly like Aaron Ramsey, really. So I think Aaron Ramsey, will it be him or Ramsey? He can also kind of play the same sort of role like what Santi's been playing, where he's been sort of that deep line playmaker as well. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm trying to work out in my head where he's going to go, because you also got Elneny that's been playing pretty well as well. So, but listen, the more quality players in there, the better you got them, then you can work it out afterwards. There's players that have left, so we needed midfielders. I'm just glad we're bringing in quality.
I hope that we can try and change our formation. I mean, you looked at Leicester, the way that they played with Drinkwater and Kante. With this signing, it gives us a lot more sort of options as well to play the two DMs if necessary, to play one DM. I think it's this especially now he's left-footed as well, it's going to bring a nice balance.
Yeah.
I like the Vieira-Petit sort of combination that we used to have.
We miss that.
Yeah, we do miss that. We've never really replaced them two. You know, I know we had Gilberto for a couple of seasons, but if we can get that nice balance in centre midfield, those rocks there, you know, that will allow our players to go and express themselves. I think this will be a good signing for us. I really do.
So he's come in. Flamini apparently he's going. Arteta's gone. He's going to sign for Man City, isn't he? He's a coach.
Gutted about
there.
that.
I think that's quite shocking. Quite saddening actually. And obviously, the little Mozart Rosiski's gone. We think. Who else do we think? Debussy might leave. Do you think? Yeah. Gibbs possibly.
Ramsey,
because this is
Ramsey.
Well, the question is.
Jack Santee, you got.
There's a lot of people there in midfield.
Yeah, but we say that. At the start of the season, we say there's a lot of people, and then by the time we get into about October or so, we're like, oh, we've got no player to play there.
Do you think, though, that we need to sell to get rid of a saleable asset just to boost our coffers? Because I know the A.F.C came out and said we've actually got more like 100 million in the bank ready to spend. But do you think that we might need to sell somebody?
The best teams keep the best players. I don't want to see us selling. There's lots of players going out, as you said. That's enough. You just replace those. Keep the quality that's in the squad, and
Rob, Elneny, Coquelin, Wilshere, Santee, Ramsey. What's his name? Xhaka, whatever his name is.
Six there.
Right.
Are you going to keep these happy every single game?
Last season, yeah.
Campbell, we just carry on.
Last season, yeah, you had.
We didn't have Elneny, and we didn't have Xhaka.
Arteta, but then he was injured for nearly all
we
the season.
didn't have Arteta.
No, he was in the squad.
No, but he was injured.
But at the start of the season, you would have named them all out. You'd have said Arteta, Flamini, Cazorla, Rosicky, all these names. Half of them were injured for after the season.
Yeah,
right?
but
Wilshere was injured before the season.
Yeah, Wilshere as well. We've got to have a lot of players in.
I'm not saying that's wrong, but how are you going to keep them happy?
The problem is Wenger plays these players out of position as well.
Of course he does.
He's played Ramsey out on the right a few times. He's played Jack on the wings a few times. Santi's been playing out on the wing a few times. I agree with you. I think we're going to have to maybe allow one of these players.
Ramsey's going to go.
I don't think. Listen, if you want to be the best teams, right, you've got to have a top quality squad. Right? Top quality squad, not, I want to keep him happy.
Rob,
but let's keep him happy by winning.
You have 2 or 3, you don't have 6. It's not going to happen.
But there was 6 last year.
But not of that quality.
Well,
Arteta,
the players,
Flamini,
that's what we
Rosicky.
want. What do we want? We want quality. We don't want fillers.
I'm not saying
we want
that.
it so that if a player...
You were talking about all those players that we had beginning of this season, but Wilshere's only just come back. He wasn't even counting.
So can you rely on Wilshere week in, week out?
Rosicky wasn't even. Rosicky hasn't even played this season hardly.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, can you
so what are you saying that?
Can you rely on our players week in, week out to be fit?
Ramsey had a good number of games. Coquelin had a good number of games. Elneny, when he came in, had a good number.
Yeah, but what happens is when you haven't got a proper squad, right? Is that players that are even off form, like Ramsey, they still play week in, week out. When they've got proper competition, like you've seen Elneny come in, right, and give them a bit of competition to that midfield, all of a sudden, if Coquelin's not playing good, he's out of the team, right? And the levels stay high. And that's what I want to see at Arsenal. That's the top clubs, that's how they operate. Look how many quality players at Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, City. That's what you've got to do now. We're going to be fighting on all these fronts.
Do you think Ramsey,
Champions League.
Do you think Ramsey is going to rise to the challenge?
Hopefully he will.
Ramsey's been living off a one-season wonder, to be honest with you. And I think Wenger's been trying to accommodate him in the team by playing him out on the right, playing him out of position.
Do you think he likes him? Wenger obviously likes him because he's always trying to fit him in somewhere.
I'm sure he does because he's disciplined. But I don't think we're getting the best out of Aaron Ramsey. I think it's been a massive.
And if he don't deliver now, and you've got players there like Xhaka and that,
I think Ramsey needs to go for Ramsey. I like Ramsey, and he did have that amazing season. But I will say this now, like I did with the Woodwalk the league, that 2 will go. 2 will go. He won't be able to keep. It won't even be down to him. He won't be able to keep. 2 will go. Okay.
Which
Xhaka's
2?
there. I think Ramsey's one of them. I have to
who's the other?
say.
Debussy would definitely go.
Well, we've already known
Joel
Debussy.
Campbell, you think he'll go? Or?
I think Joel should go for Joel, to be honest. And I feel very sorry for that boy.
Possibly, I thought Joel Campbell would definitely be on his way out. But now
what
that
does he need
Welbeck,
to do to prove how good he is?
now Welbeck's got this long-term injury.
that's
I'm
the
not
only
sure
thing.
if he'll ship him out.
For me, I think that's benefited Walcott.
True, that has, because I think Walcott's probably on his way out, but Welbeck's long-term injury,
Unfortunately,
he might stay.
I think Sanchez is going to go. I've just got this horrible feeling.
We can't afford to lose
No,
Sanchez.
we know that, and I'll be devastated. But I've got a feeling that he don't look happy.
When he came off against
Ozil
Norwich.
looks happy. Yeah, and I think that he's frustrated, and you can tell it in his play as well.
But this is exactly why you need strong squads. I don't buy into this thing about let's make them happy. Your job, you make yourself happy by playing well, and let's have a strong squad for. We're in the Champions League. What happened last year when we was playing certain games in it? When we went away to Bayern Munich, how weak that team was because of injuries. We want to have a proper squad so we can fight on both fronts.
The question is, though, Robbie, if Alexis is unhappy or Ramsey is unhappy or somebody is unhappy that's in there with one of our key players, do you think Wenger's going to keep him on, knowing how Wenger is with players and being a humanist?
Well, that's his job. That's why he gets, like you guys keep saying, that's why he gets paid £8 million a year, right? You've got money, you've got quality players. It's your job to make sure that those players perform, right? Okay. Because you know what? Look at a club like City. Boney last year, right? They bought him for all that money. He weren't playing well. He weren't playing. He was on the bench. Raheem Sterling, they paid £50 million for that guy, and he spent a lot of time on the bench.
But we all knew that was far too much money for him.
But he's a quality player. But basically, there's other quality players there, and if you don't perform and think you're going to start week in, week out, that's kind of a problem at Arsenal sometimes, because
let's just go back
players
to
know that they're in.
Sterling is at City for the money. I'm not being funny. How can that not be too obvious to you?
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't necessarily say. I think Sterling's a quality player. I really
He's
do.
okay. He's not £50 million.
He's not worth 50 million, but he's a very young player.
22, I would have gone for him.
He's a very young player.
Okay, right. Let's forget about City.
But anyway,
we're not here to talk about them. Ospina, do you think he's going to leave this summer? He's not happy being number 2, is he?
It's a possibility that he'd leave, but I would love him to stay because, again, he is a quality player, quality number 2. And as I keep saying, with the injuries
he
we
wants
get,
to be number 1, Robbie.
Well, if he's under
looks
contract,
at his stats and he compares them to
you want to be number 1, and you want to be number 1, then you've got to earn that. You know, because if you're at the top clubs,
but he will feel that he has earned it.
Well,
he may feel that he has earned it.
Well, and injuries can happen, and you get your chance. Listen, let's stop thinking small at Arsenal. Let's start thinking like our Real Madrid and Barcelona. Their fans don't say, "Oh,
well, they got
we
rid of
can't buy
Casillas.
him,"
They
because
got rid of Casillas last year because he wasn't prepared to fight out with Keylor Navas.
The Casillas wanted to go, didn't he? But
exactly, and Ospina wants to go.
Yeah, but even with the Navas thing, Keylor Navas thing, who's had a good season, they're still talking about buying De Gea.
Robert, you're arguing a little bit slightly different to what I'm trying to say here. I'm not saying they shouldn't stay and we should think big. We may not have a choice. Okay, Ospina might say, I'm off. Ramsey might say, I'm off. So what's my
it depends on if they're under contract.
I don't think Wenger's be able to keep
it's not going to keep all of them happy, right? And I understand that. If there's 2 or 3 for a position, fine. 6, no.
There's not 2 midfielders, is there?
In Wenger's tenure, history tells us, if player's not happy, he doesn't want to keep him there.
Yeah, but let me just say, there's not 2 midfielders for starters, right? You know what I mean? So you can't say 6 into 2,
Coquelin,
right?
El Neni,
right.
Xhaka,
But there's not 2 positions they're fighting for. But what I'm saying is, right, you've got players like Jack ain't going to play week in, week out. We know that. With his injury record, right?
We don't know that, do we?
Even when he's fit, Wenger will be kid gloves with him, right, because he knows about his injury record. We've got Champions League, we've got Premier League, and we want to be fighting strong on both fronts. Not we go to play such and such a team is some weakened team. I want us to start.
But Rob, that's not the argument.
What is it with Arsenal fans that we're always worried about money?
No.
Oh,
it's not my argument.
That's a bit expensive. The other fans of them other clubs don't.
It's not my argument. Right. I agree with you on that. But he won't be able to. That's my argument.
I think Wenger's capable of.
That's what my argument is. You're getting the wrong end of the stick here. I am saying he won't be able to. All right. I'd love to have the best player in every position, 3 of them. but it's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to keep this squad happy. Too many. We had him last year. Even the pundits said he's got loads of players in the same position.
You know what?
One striker. Let's just focus on what he needs to buy. I'd love to have 2 strikers sitting on our bench.
All the top teams, all the top teams. Not everybody that's sitting there is happy. It goes with the territory.
Of course.
You got to join Barcelona. Arda Turan is one of one of your boys from Turkey.
He did have 6 months out because he was banned.
6 months he's banned. He comes right. He was an absolute first starter at Atletico Madrid. He's gone to Barcelona.
But players can be happy if their club's winning things. They don't mind
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Let's go back. I said that before. You keep people happy by winning.
Let's go back to Sterling just a second for this example. Do you think he's knocking on the manager's door, going, "Don't want to sit on the bench"?
He might be.
What, for how much he's earning per week? Do you think he's doing that?
Well, I don't really.
He's a young kid who's worth about 15 to 20 million quid, not 50. So you can't compare it.
Let's move it on to where other parts of the team that need addressing. Striker.
Oh, yeah.
Give us a name.
Well, we've been calling out for a striker for about 4 years, haven't we? We've been linked with Higuain, Suarez.
Oh, talking about
Benzema.
Apparently Chelsea are now looking to go in for Higuain.
We should have signed Higuain. We should have signed him when we had the chance. Lukaku's really cool. I like Daniel Sturridge, you know. I think we took a gamble on Kanu and Overmars when they had a history of injury. I think if we get Daniel Sturridge, he's the type of striker. They've got a player that just wants to score goals.
And he fits into the system.
I love Sturridge. I think he's a quality player, but come on, Mims. Do we want to take a chance with another guy that's going to be, we're going to extend the treatment room at Coney?
We signed Danny Welbeck and he had no injuries before he signed for Arsenal. Look at him. As soon as he comes to Arsenal, the history of injuries.
Bless him. Poor Danny.
So you never can tell.
But then do you bring in somebody, though, who's got a definite history of it? He's like Liverpool's Jack Wilshere, isn't he?
I think Klopp.
I want someone to start every week.
I think Klopp called him out on his injuries and said you've got to be able to play through the pain barrier. And funnily enough, he has. You know, but anyway,
at the moment,
so we've got Lukaku,
ATM,
Sturridge, Higuain, Lacazette's available, possibly. You know,
Aubameyang. Out of our price range.
I think he'll be out of our price range.
Young Dutch striker.
Janssen.
Why is he out of our price range? Why is he out of our price range? We haven't got 10 million sitting there. Why is he out?
Because it's Arsene Wenger. he won't pay.
He's not out of Arsenal's price range.
Let's look at defence. Do you think another centre back?
We do need another centre back.
Because I'm looking at the combinations and I'm not happy with what I'm seeing.
I really like that defender at Southampton, Virgil van Dijk.
Brilliant.
I like him.
I think we should have signed him as well.
But again, they've just signed him on a new long-term contract.
Varane's not happy at Real Madrid.
Varane would be perfect.
You know, could we bring him in maybe?
Varane would be very expensive.
Will Wenger pay that kind of money for a defender?
But we've got Callum Chambers sitting there who we didn't see last season, you know. And when he did play centre back last season, I really liked him there.
But he's not Varane, is he?
Yeah, he's not really a step in. Because what I worry about is obviously Mertesacker's coming towards the end of his tenure. You know, Koscielny and Gabriel have not really hit it off.
No,
I don't think they've hit it off.
Because I don't
know what's happened to Gabriel. I'm not sure.
Well, he's only been 4 years a professional, so you know he can't speak the language. You know,
I think Gabriel needs like somebody with experience next to him.
Koscielny's
experienced, but he's not a leader, is he? He's not a leader. He's another quiet player.
The thing about Koscielny as well is when he plays against a top striker, he looks fantastic, doesn't he? You say he's got all these strikers in his pocket, but then when he plays against Shane Long, he gets ruined. You know what I mean? He has these.
But I think that's why sometimes he needs a leader. Do you remember that season when Mertesacker and him, it was a brilliant combination a couple of seasons ago? I think that's because he had Mertesacker guiding him. But
okay, well, come to the end of the show. Tell us what you think or who you think Arsenal should buy in the summer, and who you think might be leaving. Thanks for watching. That's been a big Arsenal discussion.
For all the best coverage of this year's Euros, get along to my brand new channel and subscribe right now. Subscribe to a man like Robbie.